This is Eat, Sleep, Invest, the marketing podcast for real estate investors to get more deals. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Eat, Sleep, and Invest. I'm your host, Bryan Driscoll. I'm here with Chad Keller, and today we want to talk about something a little bit different. We're normally talking about life insurance, getting deals, things like that, but we want to talk about things like life insurance and protecting your assets because you're going out crushing it, building assets, you're building wealth. And if something happened to you yesterday, what happens? So a lot of people don't think about it because they don't want to. What do you think, Chad? What do you got going on? You ever dealt with that?
I'm just going through this now. I've been acquiring assets, building wealth for like the last 8-10 years. And the whole family, I have 3 daughters and everything. So like I started thinking about this, and the more and more, I think we talked to, who was it? Was it Al from Family Mastermind Probate?
Yeah.
He was talking about like the whole process of probate and like some of the horror stories that he's seen. And I'm like, I think it's time. So I'm going through the whole process and just thinking about those scenarios, like just the different things that can happen after your death. It's terrible to think about, but like at the same time, got to be prepared. Who do you want to take care of? If this, then that. Who do you want to be in control of X, Y, and Z? It's super, super important, especially when you're in like this. Like me and you have houses together. We have a lot of houses together. I don't think me and you have this business together. I don't think you want to be business partners with my wife. I mean, nothing against her, but at the same time, it's just not, you didn't go into business with my wife, you went into business with me. So it's super important. We have groundworks for everything laid out.
Yeah. And so here's some things to think about. And disclaimer, we are not attorneys. We cannot give any legal advice, things like that. But like Chad's saying, okay, we're business partners. If something happens to me, my wife is now his partner. And I have a pretty strong insurance background from back in the day. And I've seen a lot of stuff where businesses, the wife now becomes your partner and she's never been in business before, but now she's excited to be a business owner and wants to be involved, but doesn't have the experience, and it takes the business down. So you can do, it's called like a buy-sell agreement. You can, like I would buy life insurance on Chad. Well, actually the business would buy one on behalf of both of us. Upon one of our deaths, it would pay the family off, like pay my wife off or his, and then buys that portion of the business for the other person. So you can do things like that in business. But even more importantly too, just if you have properties, like everyone's always out here pitching, you need whole life insurance. You need universal insurance. You need to build that cash value. You can borrow it, be your bank, all that kind of stuff. That stuff's expensive and is really good for certain situations. If you don't have life insurance, go out and buy a term policy. They're super cheap. At least protect your assets. So term is like renting insurance, like you could call it. You buy a policy for like 30 years. It expires at the end of 30. There's no cash value. But if you have $1 million policy and something happens to you tomorrow, that company pays out the $1 million. So you're at least protecting your family if something happens to you while you're building your wealth, because all life insurance is doing is creating that bucket of cash that you're going to accumulate in the next 10, 20 years to protect your family anyways. Just if your life's premature, it creates that kind of stuff, you know? And then Chad, even like wills and stuff, you're dealing with that kind of stuff too. Like even all the things you need to think about, like what's some of the questions that popped up there that like people don't think about?
Yeah. One of this is like, the one that like threw me off and just like made me laugh and like think about a situation I never want to think about. The attorney asked me, if you die and your wife remarries, do you still want to cover the bills in the house? And do you still want to push the money this way or that way and take care of their life expenses or something like that? It just like makes you, it's a very uncomfortable situation, but it really makes you like think about like these real life scenarios that could happen. So like she kept calling things out like that. Like if Cruz, who's my youngest daughter, she's only 2 right now. She basically wouldn't get money released to her until she was 18, but you want to release all of this money to her at 18? Or do you want to release X amount at this age or X amount at this age, cover school cost or business? Something cool that we did is me and Bryan, like I went to college, but from personal standpoint, unless you're a doctor, lawyer, whatever it may be, I don't believe that like my daughter should, I hope that she takes the entrepreneurial path, I should say. So that's what I hope. And if she wants to start a business, okay, then she can have X amount to go into that business. And I think your kids are set up the same way, something like that. So there's just like cool scenarios that you can put in place, buffers for them, but also like protect them. You don't want an 18-year-old getting all this money and then blowing all this money and screwing up their entire life at that age. So
yeah, like 18 years old, like if I got $1 million at 18 years old, man, that would actually be counterproductive because I would have been out drinking, I've gotten enough trouble as it is, let alone having a big lump sum like that, because then you don't have responsibilities for a while. You're like, oh, I got all this money, I can just chill out. And some people get involved with drugs, drinking too much, things like that, because it breaks it up. So it kind of hurts them there. Plus, you want to think about too, like even if a lot of people don't have wills, like Chad's talking about, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to think of, well, what happens to where do my kids go? Who takes care of the kids if something happens to me? And a lot of people push that stuff off and just don't even want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable, and you have to. And then a lot of people, I actually saw in the insurance business, a lot of people will get their will done and they forget to sign it. Like it just sits in their drawer. They don't sign it, which I don't believe it. That even puts it in force. So make sure, like, get the wills done, go through those uncomfortable things, buy life insurance. You can get into it for investments or whatever everyone else wants to talk about too, but just get it to protect yourself. I always look at buy the policy that will protect your family for the value you need. And then if you have additional money that you want to put into that kind of stuff, then you can start going and looking at those creative ways and getting the other types of policies. But buy the policy that you need. So anyone, whoever your insurance agent is, reach out to them, call them up, tell them, hey, I need to tell them your situation, what you're looking for. Just have them give you quotes. You can even get term quotes right online. There's all kinds of different websites. And then talk to whoever your attorney is. If you don't have one, go grab one. You can get a normal will, medical power of attorney, regular power of attorney. And there's one other one. You can get them done for like $500-600 from an attorney. They're not expensive, and get them done. So at least you're protected instead of pushing them off. And then last thing I'll say on life insurance is do it yesterday, because you never know when you're going to get high cholesterol or you're going to get something else that pops up in your health, things like that. And then it's going to be like, you know what? I can't get health insurance now, or the rates just tripled on me because I have really high cholesterol, or I have, I forget, there's all these different conditions. Like diabetes is a real big one that will really hurt your rates. So get it as soon as you possibly can, just because it's never going to be as cheap as it is at your current age and your current health, because you're in the best health most likely you're ever going to be in your life right now. Yeah. You got anything else on that, Chad?
That's it. Again, it's not advice or we're not experts on any of this. Bryan, you worked in insurance for what, 10-15 years? You ran an agency.
I was in insurance, for over 20 years. So I know that side of it, but we're not giving legal advice.
Yeah, I'm not going to sell you insurance or anything like that. It's just hearing it just through the grapevine, and a lot of business friends and entrepreneurs that we network with and everything, just the value of it. It will really pay itself back.
It's even like they go look on the GoFundMe pages. Like somebody passes away, and they have to do a GoFundMe. You know what I mean? Like it's stupid things like that. If you're in your 20s and 30s, you can get a policy for like $10-20 a month. It's like super, super cheap. It's the same thing with people renting houses that don't have renter's insurance. And then you see those GoFundMes because their house burned down and they didn't have insurance and it cost $10 a month. Which, speaking of that too, make sure all your tenants have renter's insurance and include it in your lease. But with that being said, that's what we got for you today. Go out and crush it and close some deals.